Welcome, everybody, to today's Big Blend Radio Toast to the Arts show. Today, we're toasting to Rome 56, and that is Arthur and Kathleen Lamonica. They were on our show a couple years ago with their album Days of Carefree Living, and they're back on the show today, excuse me, to talk about their new album, Paradise is Free, and you need to get it. It came out in spring, and you've got to go get it now. So just go to rome56.com. You can get it on any of the place. I mean, yeah, it is rome56.com. Any places that you stream music, you can hear it, but go buy it. So welcome, Arthur. Welcome back. How are you?
Hi, we're fine. How are you? I hope you're doing well.
We're doing good. How are
Yeah.
you doing, Kathy?
Good, thanks, Lisa. Very good.
It's
Thanks.
good to finally have you on the show. I know we've been talking back and forth for so long all this year, but now you're here, and that's good. And this album, I love your music, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I've listened over and over, and what I love, I don't ask me all the song names, but because it's just to me a really good listening experience where it kind of sounds like a movie in a way. Does that make
Oh,
sense? Like,
well, it's not like there's a running theme, but
no.
I guess there's always something when you do a record that there's a continuity to it, and yeah, it wasn't any pre-thought out kind of idea to have it like a rock opera or anything, but I'm glad you see some continuity in it, and that's
Yeah,
what
it's got a nice flow to it, and
yeah.
you've got so many different styles. I mean, it's like you have the ability to bring in instrumentation, and I think the keys are fantastic. Gotta say, go girl.
Thank
There you
you.
go.
Thanks.
Yeah, but you
He's
bring in
getting
these
good.
nuances that aren't like overdone, and it's these little hints, and so simplicity is there, and then you've got all these different styles, so it feels like an old friend when you're listening to it, yet it's completely new and different. And that's personally, that's how I feel about it. Everybody listens to an album and has a different, reaction or feeling about it, but I can't wait to listen to it on the road. This is the perfect road trip music to keep
Oh,
your
great.
brain going.
That's
Yeah,
great.
because of the flow. I mean, each song kind of goes into it. I think that's what it is. It's like you're in another scene in a movie or a play or another chapter in a book, if
Well,
that
I'm
makes
glad you
sense.
said that because the the idea was not to have way too much production or go overboard with too many overdubs. Uh, I basically come from is the melody good
Yeah, yeah.
and take it from there, and little bits of here, little bits of there, but nothing too over the top. And exactly what you said, because it's kind of the template that we use to put it together. Not too much production, but enough. Not a where you get bored with the sound, but there's something will come up out of nowhere that's a sound or a kind of thing that you say, oh well, that's cool, and it's not like overblown and
And it's
taken.
stuff that you wouldn't even think would even work, but it does. You're like, wow, that really fits in there.
Oh,
And
that's great.
yeah. Yeah. And then the fact too with it is it's got a little grit in it. And that's like good storytelling,
No,
to me. And you've got, but the styles, like there's one of the songs I was like, man, you're getting right into Americana now, aren't you? Like you're getting that taste
oh
of
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's I kind of I kind of straddle the line of Brit rock and Americana, which is kind of like my kind
Mhm.
my where I live. I live in that kind of, you
You
know.
could write a spaghetti Western.
That would be fun.
Yeah, yeah. So, Kathy, with the keys, do you add in the nuances, or how does that work for you as a keyboardist?
Well, sometimes I've actually had an idea for a line to play or whatever, and then Artie has we've invested in some great sounds, and like I remember one solo I did it as a piano solo. He heard it as an organ. I had played it, but he, tried a bunch of different sounds and thought that this sounded good, and it sounded much better. I was like,
Hmm.
this is great. And sometimes the sound itself can really give me an idea. Like we've gotten
Hmm.
some really great string sounds. Not to overdo it, I'm not in an orchestra, but when you've listened to enough music over the years, you kind of hear a line, and some of these plugins that we have really give you some beautiful sounds. So it's a combination of things where it comes from.
Yeah, and you hold that balance of keeping it simple. That's what's so important, because you can overdo it and you didn't. And it's just perfect. Like you just go, "Ooh, listen to that." Ooh, so I
Thank you.
love that part of it and the different stories. I mean, if it sounds to me like this is an album of people watching, like scenes from a people watcher. Like,
Oh,
funny.
yeah, that's very true. Some of the ideas come out. Sometimes they come out of dreams. Sometimes they come out of reflections, and then you take it from there. And also, I'm in this songwriting kind of group that we get assignments, and they'll say,
oh,
write a blues song, or write a song about this, and it's a nice cue to go somewhere, and you're not kind of like, it's not open to everything. It's more like, write a song. Write a song about flowers. Or I'm being very simple here, but it gives you an aim, and that's kind of helpful. It reminds me of like how it must be if you're in Nashville and you're trying to write a hit for somebody, or write a certain type of song. So it's puts you in a direction, and then it's great. It helps.
it's like a catalyst. Yeah, a little spark to, follow and see what you can do. Kathy, didn't this part of this recording happen in Amsterdam?
It did. We were over there for a few performances. We had been going almost every year. We were going in, and we said we'd like to get the band over there on a recording if possible. So 2 years ago when we went, I investigated a few studios prior to the trip. And what's good about that, when we usually go for like 2 to 3 weeks, and we might have a couple of gigs. We gear into what the set's going to be. So we're playing songs. Some of the songs haven't been out yet. And that's how we did it. We were like, that kind of helped to rehearse the band for going into a studio post doing the shows. And it came out really great. The band was tight. We were able to get it down. Then we came home, and we thought maybe we could there was a singer over there who was terrific, did some backup with us, and we wanted drums on another song. We actually did some virtually. The
Wow.
engineer over there helped us set it up. There's programs you can use. So we were literally had to get up before the crack of dawn here to get, they were going into the studio there because they had the ideas, but we could watch it in real time. We were like talking to them. Could you try this? Could you do that? So that was very interesting, that part of it.
That was great. Kind of being there, but we're only 3,000 miles away. So
yeah, but you having been there, it still gives you that vibe, right? It's familiarity, So everyone, this is New York City, right? You're in New York City and Amsterdam. That's like a nice crossover,
Yeah, it was very cool, and the idea of it was always kind of one of the things I wanted to do was to record a song in Amsterdam, because we had a little bit of success there and met a lot of people, and so everything just turned out great, and then we kind of brought it all back here and kind of mixed it here, and it turned out really good. It was good.
It's a good album, solid. Like I know that it's going to be played a lot on the road, because we need road music. We go through all kinds of weird things. Either like you're going through like the flatland in the desert for 10 hours, or driving across Texas, and you're like, somebody's going to have to get me through this. So I'll call you from Texas and say, it's working. We can keep playing it, but so what happens now for the rest of the year? Are you guys, performing in the city, or what?
We're going to start rehearsing to do some local gigs, and we hope to possibly do something either back in Europe. We were going to do it in fall, but now it's looking like maybe springtime. Okay. And then do some more recording and release a single at some point during the next month or so.
Yeah,
and play locally. there was a nice little gig we had down near Chinatown, New York, called the
Two Bridges
Two Bridges
Luncheonette.
Luncheonette. It's a funny little place that's between the Brooklyn Bridge and the Manhattan Bridge. That's where you get the two bridges, and it was a very tiny place. You couldn't fit more than 30 people in there, I don't think.
Oh, wow.
And it was so we were kind of, me, Kathy, and our guitar player Derek did it because we couldn't do the whole band there. Couldn't do any drums or percussion, and it was a fun gig, and we did that over.
Well, we had a
the
residency for
springtime.
about
A little bit of a
6 months.
residency, and then when the summer came, it kind of ended. The guy decided to kind of not do it for a while. I guess he's going to do it again at some point. But that was kind of fun, and basically it was good to play older songs that we have that we weren't doing. Usually you have a kind of set. You have 45 minutes to an hour, and this time it was kind of like, well, because we don't have the whole band, let's just bring some stuff back from that we were doing a couple of years ago, and that was fun just to bring back stuff.
So yeah, I mean, because you've got quite a collection now, right? So do you ever see putting like a whole retrospective together?
Well, I have so many songs, and that would be great. That would be a really terrific thing to do. Right now, we kind of the last 4 records that Rome 56 have done have kind of been in the same kind of mold, and I do have a bunch of songs that I call it my Brooklyn songs, which is like kind of like going back to my childhood and things like that, and that's kind of I haven't really done it with the band yet, but there's about 12 songs, and that's kind of like something I would really like to do. But in the meantime, we'll probably me and Kathy are going through other type of songs, and we're kind of thinking ahead to the new album, whichever way we record it and how we're going to do it, or you
got to do 2 cities each time. You can't, you might have to go like, do you ever tour the States, or do you do mostly Europe?
No, we only play really locally in New York City.
Okay.
We go over, and then it was
over there.
And then it was England and the Netherlands, because we had people in both that we kind of had a little developed a little bit of a following.
Yeah.
The English part was down in the southern part, Kent, which was very nice too. Yeah, there was some nice clubs down there. But post COVID, some of them closed down. That was like a little
sad. Yeah, we're still seeing restaurants and clubs close. It's sad. People say, "Oh, COVID's over and the effects are over." No, not from what we're seeing as we travel. And we were in one city, and within 1 week, 4 restaurants closed. I think 2 of them Michelin stars. And you're just like, "Whoa, that's not fun. It's happening," And so I always think about, okay, go support the arts, culinary arts, the musicians, because life totally sucked without live music. It sucked. It sucked. I know everyone did so many Zoom concerts and things like that, which was great. It got us through. But there's nothing like seeing a band play, right? And for you guys, did you miss that during COVID, like being in a live venue?
Oh yeah,
well, definitely.
But everybody was. New York got so hit by COVID.
Yeah.
So it was part of existing was like being locked in and being in an urban area where there's a lot of people around. It's we were all always in our masks, and it's happening again. We're starting to see it more and more that people close to us are all of a sudden, oh, so and so's got COVID. Oh, really? So
no, it is.
When we get on subways, we still wear our masks.
Yeah.
So
wow. So I was going to ask your album art. I love your album art, and I remember when you came on the show last time, going, "Who's doing these drawings?" And then the latest one, wasn't there something with it was the Dave in the Cardboard Box, maybe. Was that Carol Burnett who had the one character who had a cardboard box over his head, but now you've got the brown paper bag. What is tell us about the cover art? Because I think your cover art is just you have this and I think we probably talked about this last time, but you have, and I think it goes with your music where you're giving songs of ordinary life, and then the images on the art, the album art, are like, here's a scene from, a day in the life of, but I don't know why he has a bag on the head. Like, what's with the bag on the head?
Well, there's an actual real story about the painting that the painter, the artist, told us. Like he's a friend of ours, and he's a Dutch artist, and his name is Bert, and he's really very funny. He has a lot of humor to his artwork. And when we were there recently, the last time we were there, excuse me, and he was having a show with a photographer, a kind of a duo, and he put up all his stuff, and we were saying, oh, we don't have any real ideas for the new album, and and he says, well, if you see anything, just whatever you see, and he had a lot of really funny things. Some of them were a little, edgy, but this one, we thought this one's really funny. The idea of because we were thinking, well, paradise is free, and then you see somebody sitting with a bag on their head, but that has like jewelry on and like smoking a cigarette with a drink. It's like
that's awesome.
So telling the story.
The story, it was that he was going to do a portrait of his wife. So he paints it and shows her the first version, and she doesn't like it. Repaints the face, shows her the second version, she still doesn't like it. He's like, oh, forget it. He puts a bag over her head, and she loved it. So he went with that. He said,
that's his wife.
Yeah, it's actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
She's great too. She's
really great.
She's not Dave in the Cardboard Box then.
So it's ironically the two records that we've just done is with the artwork. It's somebody sitting in a chair.
It's just that way.
We're not going to do that anymore.
Come on, it's fun. It's almost like a whole what's going to be the next series.
One? So the next one should have somebody sitting on a chair.
Yeah, but like something has to be like odd on the table.
I thought there was something unusual about both. The days of carefree living in this. Yeah.
All right, so we'll stick with the chair.
It's kind of like a theme. It's a running thing, and that's because your songs are like that. It's like a day in the life of. That's how I feel like the songs are like these little moments in someone's life, and you know what I mean, or a personality, or there's these little stories, and I think we all identify with those because we all have those moments.
Yeah. Well, David Bowie had his Berlin trilogy. We can have our chair trilogy.
The chairs. I mean, Iggy Pop collects chairs. Go ask him for a chair.
That's interesting.
He does. He has a whole chair collection, and every day he sits in a different chair.
Really?
Yeah, you could put him in there. That would be interesting. But you could incorporate some animals.
That would be good. Sure.
Yeah,
we've got two cats sitting around. It's not too hard to find anything.
Well, as far as they put them on the table, it's their table. Just like looking at the human, going, "When are you going to feed me? You're late."
What they do. They kind of find they try to find an eye level kind of view of us, so that they kind of sit in on the conversations, and there they are. And
they do that, and they tell you, they're looking at you, going, you're supposed to talk about me. You're supposed to do this. You're late. You need to do this now. It's all about that.
Well, that's exactly how it goes.
You could have two cats playing poker at the table. Or like this, take the cat with a cat toy with a rod, that little fishing rod.
Oh yeah.
You have a cat sit on the table and basically playing with the human face, like here.
That's it.
You play with it, something like that. I don't know, but I love the artwork. You can't get rid of the artwork. That's cool. It's awesome because you always go, what's going on, what is happening. You're already having a question mark, like something's going on,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Either having a bag on your head, smoking a cigarette, and drinking a drink.
Yeah.
Or the guy
How's the
sitting at the
cats doing?
table having a coffee.
Yeah, exactly. So with your music, who inspires you musically for each of you? Like, when you're writing, do you ever listen to other people's songs, or do you go, no, I'm just staying purist on mine? Or what does that happen when you're writing? Let's do that part.
Yeah, I don't go. I'm not much for saying, oh, I want to have a song sound like so and so. It just comes out of me the way it does.
Cool.
I'm kind of polystylistic, so it's I listen to a lot of music, but I listen lately. I listen to a lot of comfort music. I call it like comfort food. I'm not kind of searching,
Yeah.
for what's kind of like the new thing or the new sound of this. I kind of like go back to the things what I grew up on. It's like I'd say the obvious groups and uh, and basically, yeah, that's how I see it. But I do like a lot of some of the newer songs. You're talking about Americana and country. I was really into Molly Tuttle and Casey Musgraves and that's kind of, to me, it's new stuff. I don't know. I know they're somewhat popular, and but I go to lean towards yeah, Americana is right. And also, I've been listening to a lot of just instrumental music, but like kind of just mellow in like movie soundtrack kind of stuff, and
See, it's the movies. I'm
and
telling
kind
you.
and Roger Eno,
Hmm.
not Brian Eno, but Roger, his brother. I kind of got into what he's doing. So
Cool.
little ambient stuff and things like that. And some friends of mine, a band called Blues Deluxe, which is our friend Conrad Ware, who's a really great songwriter, and they play a lot. I mean, when you said do you play outside of New York, they go up and down the East Coast, and
Mm.
they have a great record, and it's called Hallucinate, and so they're I'm very enamored with them.
That's awesome.
And it's kind of like a blues meets Steely Dan kind of sound. It's really nice stuff.
Cool. Cool. Kathy, what about you?
I'm a little more varied and like I'll listen. I mean, I kind of grew up with standards, really. Like I grew up, playing piano, and it was more traditional kind of, things. But then as I was learning on my own a bit, it would be, Carole King, Traffic. I'd get books on that, like that to get the piano sound. Sometimes I go back to that because I just like the sounds, like Traffic. I was listening to recently, Neil Young, that kind of thing. We're going to see some shows whenever we're getting ready. Richard Thompson's coming up, so I like his new album. I like the tribal sounds there. So,
Cool.
but yeah, it's different.
We were going to go see Ringo, but Ringo canceled.
That's it. So
Oh,
we have a Ringo story.
Yeah,
So
the Ringo
2020, we have tickets to see him at the Beacon Theater, which we're within walking distance of. It was great, and COVID hits, so he has to postpone it till the next year. June 21, COVID hits again, still going, has to postpone it. The next year, we're still holding on to these tickets. I get COVID the week before, so already took a friend. So now we finally have tickets where I'm going to go. It was at Radio City last week, and he canceled, Ringo. So
oh man.
I think one of these days, when he gets back. But he's inspirational. I mean, it's
Oh,
funny.
he's always he's quirky and fun.
Fun.
You know what I mean? He's got a good vibe about him, and I like his music.
And he's a Beatle. That's
Well,
it.
I
He's a
know.
Beatle.
Yeah.
So that's
He
it.
is.
That's all we need.
Yeah, but he's got a when you listen to them separately, they're all so different.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure. And he's just so completely different. I mean, Paul McCartney's always smiling and fun. George Harrison was more serious, and so was John Lennon. Serious people.
Yeah.
But then the other two are like, let's be fun and silly, and you know what I mean. They just have that kind of vibe. So it's interesting how it all turned out.
Ringo was the actor in the band.
Yeah. I think so. Well, he got into all of the submarine and Yellow Submarine, and
Well,
that is good stuff,
yeah.
And then Monty Python copied him.
Yeah.
That's funny. He's been on a Monty Python kick lately.
I'm on a Monty Python kick, so I'm just going back and watching the old shows. It's just great. I'm just so into it.
Did you ever watch Fawlty Towers?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Actually, a long time ago, with my old band, we were in London, and we were at this staying at this hotel, and we got locked out in our room, and we couldn't get out of the room. And it was I forgot the name of the hotel. It was kind of like an old kind of grand hotel, and so we called, and we said, we got the front desk. And we said, we're sorry, we're in our room, but we can't get out of the room. We're not locked out of the room. We're locked out of getting out of the room. And she said, "Welcome to Fawlty Towers."
No way. That's hysterical.
That was great.
That's I got locked in a bathroom in a hotel.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and there was no window. There was no nothing.
Did you have your phone with you?
No. Nancy was in the room, but then, and she could barely, they just renovated these rooms. And this was like a year ago, I think. And so it was so heavy and she could barely, it was a mess. And I'm like, what if you checked into this room on your own? There's no window, no phone, and it's this heavy door. Like, no, thank you. I didn't think it was that funny at the time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's not cool, but it is funny to be locked in a bathroom. Because then I'm like, come on, where's the cute fireman?
Yeah, sure, right.
It's like, don't make my mom do it. I want the fireman. Funny things happen in hotels. We've been in hotel fires too. That was funny in South Africa. It was a Claridge's hotel, and I was a little kid at that time, and Nancy and I she was doing her tour of artwork in the country, and so we were traveling full time like we are now. And there was a fire. I hear fire. Mom, there's a fire. And I rolled over and went back to sleep. And she's like, hey, you idiot, come on, let's go. And people are knocking on doors. We opened the door, and it was the kitchen, which was below our room. So we were right next to where the fire was. And we all go down the steps, and there's smoke. We get down to the level where the bar and the lounge and everything is. Well, we're in South Africa. People are in their night robes and everything. Everybody goes to the bar and tries to order a drink. This is South Africa for you. The firemen are like, what is wrong with you people? They're like, what? The fire's over there. This is a bar. Might as well have a drink.
Might as well.
It was crazy. But yeah, fun stuff in hotels. Always good to have you back on the show. Stay in touch with us as you do your next album and singles. And everybody keep up with them at Rome56.com is the website. I've seen it's on Amazon, right? You can get it pretty much everywhere.
It's on the record label Think Like a Key. So
that's a good label. Good label.
And it's we carry on. And thank you so much for having us on your show.
Good to have you back, and stay safe and COVID-free during this winter, okay?
Thank you very much. And you too.
And
thanks.
Best to Nancy.
Yes.
Thanks. Yes, she says hi too. Okay. She's playing with dogs right now.
Oh, very good. That's always a good thing. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.